Okay, today we are learning section 9.7, special right triangles. This is different than the right triangle families. So we have two theorems to talk about today, two different types of triangles. The first triangle is going to be a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So 30, 60, 90 triangle theorem. Okay, so if we draw this, we'll draw the best we can. We'll put our right angle here. This would be my 30 degrees, and this would be my 60-degree angle. So when you have a triangle that has 30 degrees, 60 degrees, and a 90-degree angles, you can figure out the measurements of the sides as long as you're just given one side. If the side across from the 30-degree angle is x, then we can say that the side across from the 60-degree angle would be x times root 3. So whatever this side is, you multiply it by root 3, and that would be that measurement. The hypotenuse, if this is x, the hypotenuse would be twice that amount. So it would be 2x. So for example, let's draw another triangle and put some numbers in. If this is 30 degrees here, if this side is 5, then the hypotenuse would be twice that, it would be 10, and this side would be 5 root 3. The next type of triangle you have is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. All right, and the rule for this, let's first draw. So if you have a 45, 45, 90, you have an isosceles triangle. So if this is 45 degrees, this is 45 degrees, well then we know that the two legs are congruent. So we're gonna make those x, and the hypotenuse would be x times root 3.
It's actually
So let's do an example with some numbers. And if I said this was 45 degrees, well, if I labeled this as, let's say, 2, the other leg would also be 2, and the hypotenuse would be 2 root 3.
Actually 2 root.
Okay, let's go to the next page and apply these theorems to different problems, a little bit more challenging. So the way that I like to do these problems, when I look at number 1, I see that we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So I actually like to put in the x's. So for this one, this would be x is across from 30, x root 3 would be across from the 60 degree, and this would be 2x. Since we know that 12 is equal to 2x, we know that 6 is equal to x. Therefore, we can plug in our other sides. So we know this one is 6 since it's x, and this would be x root 3, so 6 root 3. For number 2, we are given x, which makes life super simple. So we know this is x because it's across from the 30 degrees. So we know that across from the 60 degrees would be x root 3, and the hypotenuse would be 2x. So if x is 5, our hypotenuse would be 10, and then the leg across from 60 would be 5 root 3. All right, then we have, let's go down to, we had one with the hypotenuse already. Let's do one where, this one is pretty simple, but let's try it. We have the leg across from 60 is given to us, that's x times root 3. The hypotenuse is 2x, and this side would be x. So if we know that 5 root 3 is equal to x root 3, well then 5 would be equal to x. Now we can get the other sides. So this side would be 5, and this side would be 2 times 5, which is 10. All right. Find number 8. We have the side that's across from 60. So I actually want to do it in blue. That's equal to x root 3. 30 degrees is here, so across from that would be x. The hypotenuse would be 2x. So if 9 is equal to x root 3, when we divide by root 3, we get x is equal to 9 root 3, except for we can't have a square root, in the bottom. So we'll multiply both top and bottom by that, because that's just 1. And now we have 9 root 3 over the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 9. Square root of 9 is 3. Last step is to simplify, and our x is equal to 3 root 3. So that's the shorter leg, 3 root 3. And the hypotenuse would be twice that, so it'd be 6 times root 3. And I feel like this is the hardest that it gets on these notes. All right, I would like you to complete the rest of this page on your own, and in the end you're going to check your answers. I'm going to continue notes though and move on to the next page. Okay, so with the 45-45-90 rule, you have the legs are both equal to x and the hypotenuse is x times root 2. So if both of the legs are the same, we can just say that this side is also root 2. So for the hypotenuse, we need to take x, which is root 2, and multiply it by another root 2. Well, that gives you the square root of 4, which just equals 2. For number 3, we're going down horizontally. We have the hypotenuse is equal to 9 root 2. This is actually simpler because this is equal to x root 2, and the two legs are x's. So if we have 9 root 2 is equal to x root 2, well then 9 is equal to x. So both of your legs are just 9. Okay. Number 5, if the hypotenuse is 2, well that's x root 2. The two legs would be x. 2 equals x root 2. You would divide by the square root of 2. So x is equal to 2 over radical 2. Multiply top and bottom by radical 2 to get rid of it, the radical in the bottom. So you have 2 root 2 over 2. The 2's cancel. So x is just equal to radical 2. We'll fill that in, and then you are to complete the rest of this on your own. Complete the rest of these on your own. Check the answers, and that concludes your notes for the 30, 60, 90 triangles and the 45, 45, 90 triangles. So right now, pause, and then unpause, and all the answers will be there.